Meeting with the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the commanders of the AFP's major service, Philippine Army, the Philippine Air Force, and the Philippine Navy, together with the chiefs and official representatives of the Philippine National Police, the Bureau of Fire Management, the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, and the officials of the Office of the Vice President and Department of Education. Our objective was to strengthen existing coordination and enhance interagency cooperation on issues concerning our national security and the country's development. As the caretaker, may I reiterate the Marcos administration's direction towards aggressively pursuing programs and projects that will address social inequities and further propel the country's progress post-pandemic. But the realizations of our national aspirations could be slowed down, held up, or hostaged altogether by forces motivated to derail our progress off the track. Our policy against criminals and terrorists and those that support and espouse their ideologies of violence should be hardline. We should show no mercy to criminals and terrorists. The Philippines will only be able to truly recover and build post-pandemic and meaningfully stand with honor and pride as a nation if we successfully address the threats to security. Let me express my gratitude to the security sector's professionalism, integrity, commitment, and undying love of our country and the Filipino people. To our media friends, thank you for coming and thank you for sharing lunch with us. For specific questions, I leave the OVP spokesperson, Attorney Reynold Monsayak, and DepEd spokesperson, Attorney Michael Powa. Maraming salamat. Magandang hapon. Ilan kayo lahat? Ay, ilang outlets? Three lang. Okay, one. Yes, opo. Initially, we discussed the peace and order situation. Initially, we discussed the peace and order situation in our country today and how we can maintain the security of our country until President Marcos comes back from his state visits. And napag-usapan din namin paano magpatuloy yung collaboration and coordination ng Department of Education, Office of the Vice President, and how we support the Office of the President and how we linkage with their respective offices and departments. And then we talked about specific issues doon sa loob ng kanilang mga departments. For fire, we talk about how we can collaborate in training our learners. And for the police, we discussed about the rape case of the 4 teachers in Camarines Sur and paano mapadali yung investigation and yung pagpasaka sa kaso and pagpapalabas ng warrant of arrest doon sa suspect. And then other offices, their specific issues as well sa kanilang mga opisina. Next question. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon po. Ako po si Laila from News 5, ma'am. Napag-usapan po ang ROTC?
Yes, ma'am. Napag-usapan din po ang ROTC and ideas were exchanged with regard to ROTC. not just in basic education but in higher education, and ano po yung mga ways forward namin to give meat doon sa declaration ng ating Pangulo na ibalik ang ROTC as a mandatory requirement for citizens.
Ma'am?
Yes, sorry. Magkaiba kayo, no? Magkaibang...
Ma'am, may specific mandate ba tayo sa ating mga heads po ng security sa security sector about against the CPP, NPA, NDF po?
Hindi siya specific, walang kami specifics na na-discuss, but we reassured each other that the Office of the President, the Office of the Vice President, and the entire government is behind all of them sa kanilang trabaho against terrorism. That's why I mentioned in our prepared statement, which was also communicated to them, that there should be no mercy sa terrorism and sa criminals.
Meron ba tayong monitor na threat sa ating pambansang seguridad? Bakit po nakatawag kayo ng conference sa mga matataas na opisyal ng PNP at DFP?
We had a leveling officer, a sit down, and a coordination because we want to maintain peace and order habang wala po si Pangulong Marcos dito sa ating bansa. Maraming salamat. Wala po. Wala po kaming na-discuss na terror threat. Thank you. Maayong hapon.
Thank you. Salamat. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Sir Jeff.
Thank you. Salamat.
Salamat tayo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't say much. Ay, pa ba sa pen? Okay na yun, sir, no? Okay na yun.